does he go for the Merc Shreds into Abyssal after his roller and become a very good magic tank? Because reality, only really the Civ is going to be able to take him down if that's the case. And we've seen a lot of risers lately, because of his short range, going with the Abyssal over the Banshee's Veil that we used to see, because Banshees, of course, doesn't give it mana anymore, so there's not really much point picking it up.
Yeah, can even mix a Frozen Heart in later for a bit of armor. Going to be nice and tanky come towards the late game, so should be fine there. Loop has actually returned to his lane as well. Got himself the Skirmisher Saber plus the Cinderhawk. Didn't quite note this might teleport there in Champ Select, but it's been a very common thing, and Loop has loved it especially.
Yeah, of course. It's just, as soon as you see the fact that they've got a short-range AD and UI Hecarim, Smite just becomes a much more attractive option because you can jump on the top of them, very hard to peel you. Ignite's great if you're going to go for that burst combo, especially if they're playing a mage in lane. But overall, you just think that the Smite is there to stay in the top lane for the meantime.
Yeah, it's been very popular in 5.6, so should see quite a lot of it moving through both the promo and the playoffs here for LPL. Kind of one of the interesting things about the Sivir, I guess, we noted that it's quite good with a lot of the tanks. You can run around them, help cut your tanks in. Spell Shield's great against all the hard CC, but one of the best champions against Sivir is probably that Hecarim.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's just the fact that you can dive so deep on the back line, and because she doesn't have a gap closer herself or something to reposition herself, a blink, it's just really hard to get away from the massive horse. So he runs just as fast as you with ultimate on. We'll have to see exactly how it works out late game, but we said Eternal.
Very good burst coming in, and Looper will just continue pushing down the wave. Marco will have his teleport back up for Dragon, which will be here in a minute 30, but Marco probably going to have to opt in for that Righteous Glory. No Snowball Rod of Ages this time.
Yeah, no roller will come through at the moment. And you know, late game, with the Vladimir ultimate, he'll still be fine with his percentage health damage. Won't do that much, and mitigates a lot of what Ryze is doing through his ultimate, so it's still a fantastic pickup. It's just not these impact plays. Unless he becomes completely unkillable and is able to solo dive SMLZ for some disruption, going to have to play more of a peeling role.
Yeah, Dade actually using the speed train, coming into the bottom side, sneaks his way in, I believe, and W forced to use the Black Shield, so Dade gonna wait. No, actually backs off. SMLZ and Love City right now perfectly fine in this bottom lane.
Yeah, they're actually doing extremely well, getting further ahead. You would think that they have to go back and shop soon. 1,700 gold approximately sitting on SMLZ at the moment, so look for him to get back, get a shop in just before the Dragon. If he goes right now after this wave, he'll get it.
Yeah, gonna look in. It's always good to shop before your Dragons. Usually want to leave a minute, but probably a decent timing right now, and Dade actually gonna leave again, and this is problems for Vlad. He's gone back, and Dade's just started aggressively roaming.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's been able to shove out that wave with his ultimate repetitively. They're going for another invade here with Looper, of course, bringing a level 10 smite to a party. Not really that fair if you're KX happy. They didn't bring one of their own in the top lane. Just means that even if it gets down to a smite battle, he's going to be able to win against the junglers.
You can see a couple of blue pings there from KX down onto the Dragon. Maybe looking in. Dade wants it though. Condi going to zone them away. Dade should be able to claim another blue buff, and then the other should respawn to give back over to M3.
Yeah, so they aren't even going for the counter invade. They'll get a ward down, but Morgana, she's not going to be able to do anything by herself. They brought Love CD in for support, and I really like the early map movements from M3. They were completely outplayed in the early game. That 4-man gank on Dade in the mid lane was extremely smart. But since then, they seem to have got a little bit more of a grasp on the game.
Yeah, I have to say, that is some scared-looking warding from W there. Knowing that there are EL blue buff invading it, just poke them over the wall. Didn't want to go deep for some extra vision there. And might cost them here as the blues back up. M3 probably want to try and take it away before the Dragon.
Yeah, M3 probably want to be able to secure this one for themselves. Looper, he's got about 1,500 gold. Needs to get a buy-in. He's taking the Krugs at the moment. Now he is shopping, so this will be a completely powered up M3 lineup for this Dragon fight. Only Dade, and even if he doesn't have enough gold for his roller, probably shouldn't back just because there's not an impact buy for him to come out before this Dragon. But overall, they're in a great spot.
Yeah, Dragon not getting looked at quite yet. Dade flash forward there. I think that must have been a misclick. And I think Juju saw it as well. It's like, what was that?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But it happened.
It did. Flash ulted into the minion wave.
Happens to everyone.
We want to get extra E damage on the caster creeps.
Every now and again, yeah. You just try and smite your blue buff. and you end up over the wall.
Yep, as Condi going to take away the Scuttle Crab. Now setting up a bit of additional Dragon Vision here for M3. Nuna is actually in the area as well, sweeping out Pink Ward. So Jungler's going to have a bit of a standoff, trading Pink Ward for Scuttle Crab. Not a bad vision trade there for both sides. As SMLZ returning with the Bloodthirster, starting again, bullying the Sivir despite the Infinity Edge.
Nuna's been caught.
Oh, that's bad news. Dredgeline lands out of the Arctic Assault. Condi going to come in as well. SMLZ diving through. Dredgeline goes in there. Good Fate's call to keep Nautilus safe, though. Does dive back in, but damage coming to Morgana. A great flash ulti, but SMLZ gets the snipe with the Pierce. Gonna look for another kill. Gets it and flashes away, but Sivir's picked up Nautilus as well. Now diving onto SMLZ. Lupa's down as well. Condi in the area and Dade arriving real late, but Lupa finds the ulti, gets the kill into Eternal. Now Dade's going to join in the party. Takes out TRN. Vladimir going to get chased down here as well, and Dade sweeps in late to play Janitor.
Yeah, good Janitor clean up there from Dade. He wasn't able to get down as early, but that was horrible. I was about to compliment Nunai on his map movements. He just completely zoned out for a second there. Auto path through a Nautilus, a Kalista. He definitely had a Gragas tailing him. Just not great understanding of what exactly was going to happen, especially because of how far ahead SMLZ was in that lane. In a 2v2, they were just much stronger. Now Sivir's got 2 kills. She's got an Infinity Edge and a Brawler Glove for herself. It might go different this time around, but that was just bizarre.
Yeah, and SMLZ's going back, got a recurve Bowen. It's funny that you mentioned it before. It was Dade returning for the roller.
Yeah, and we see going in there, just a bad pathing coming through, able to grab him out of the Arctic Assault. And SMLZ just does so much damage at this point. The aggression that came out from W nearly saved Nunai here, but just understanding exactly how much damage the Ren needed to be done. Churchery, he arrived much earlier because of the roller pickup that you just mentioned, was able to, I guess, nearly swing this one around, but you can't ever underestimate how much work Hecarim is going to get done in these mid-game fights, and goes aggressive, gets into the brush. You see everyone trying to flash into that brush just to make sure they survive. Playing with vision, very important against Vlad because he maxes the Q. It's a point-click ability. If you can get out of his sight, you can generally survive at the end of skirmishes.
Yeah, he just loses so much DPS. That's a great point there. As we can see, wards in the area as well. Nunai clearing a couple away. Dragon, of course, did go to M3 after the end of that fight as well. So 3,000 gold lead plus a Dragon apiece in. No towers felt as interesting here as we approach the 20-minute mark. And Nunai is looking for a gank.
Yeah, Nunai wants to get in there. The ultimate is available for Sejuani. I'm surprised he just hasn't thrown it out because they do have some follow-up to come through with the Sivir ulti, but they're just being patient.
Yep, Pierce landed out there as well. Just a bit of harass, getting good Ren stacks down. Love CD going to clear out a ward as well. And Condi's actually come to play, so could see a 3v3 soon. But Sejuani going to join in. They get Sivir ulted in. Massive ulti on top of SMLZ. Ulti goes down for Nautilus, but Love City is going to get chased in. Condi can't quite disengage, might get chased down himself. Has to dodge the Binding, quite tanky on the Gragas. Barrel comes through. Binding just misses as he body slams out of the way, but KX happy. 2 clean kills in the bottom.
Yeah, very good gank. It was patient in the end. I thought that they could have got one a little bit earlier, but waiting for them to group up on the other side of the lane because there was no ward there meant that they were able to pick up the double, and that's much better. As we see a skirmish in the mid lane, Gragas going to pop his head in, but these guys, they're honourable gentlemen, just back away from each other. Dade doesn't want to win an unfair duel.
No, I mean, he's very tanky at the moment. In fact, both Vlad and Ryze going for fairly tanky builds. We've got the Merc Treads done for Dade with the Roa. We've got a Spectral Shroud actually coming through, and the Will of the Ancient, and double Kindle Gems here, so it's just tank stats aplenty.
Yeah, it certainly is. It looks like both of them are going for Spirit Visage.
Yeah, and that would be cool. I mean, Spirit Visage, Vlad, something we have seen a little bit of. More of the utility build, probably going to go for a Ryle's in there as well, but Spirit Visage Ryze, it's been a while.
Yeah, it certainly has been, but Dade, he's just, he's baiting him here a little bit, and I like it because it gives you some of that cooldown reduction that you do need. I actually think Woda is a decent item on Dade. On Ryze at the moment as well, for the exact same reason, gives you some of that cooldown reduction that he needs so much along with his build, but see exactly what he's going for here. He does shove out his way. He will get a free shop, and a lot of attention has been focused mid lane throughout this game. You feel that M3's missed a trick by allowing KX Happy to now change that over to the lanes and not really punish it. They're keeping up good vision around the mid lane, but they're ganking the side waves now, which is really going in their favor.
Yeah, and you can see the other issue potentially as Condi farms away the Krugs. It's Lupa here on the top side. Massive right now. Got the Phage and the Sheen. And was going to ask you if we would see the Trinity Force, but he's snowballing so well that he might as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And generally, if you're going to go that build, Trinity Force, the Phage has some extra bang for buck, so you grab it. and then you go a little bit more tankier. However, he got that far ahead that he didn't feel it was necessary to go any tankier, but KX Happy has just taken 2 turrets, stolen a blue buff. They're back within 800 gold, looking very good in this mid game. This is where we said they were strong.
Yeah, we talked about the rotations being great here, and M3 just sort of sitting on the sidelines being like, oh, you're taking all our stuff, maybe we should do something about it. But SMLZ going to go back for the Hurricane Dragon, back in a minute 55 now as well. Righteous Glory, Glacial Shroud done for Eternal, cooldown boots, Spirit Visage done for Vlad. Things looking up for KX Happy.
Yeah, it certainly is. One thing I will pick out is Churchree. He's not running the CDR scaling blues because he's gone cooldown reduction boots as well as the CDR on the Woda and on his Spirit Visage. So he's actually over the CDR cap by a long way at the moment. If he had scaling blues, it would be somewhere around 60%, which is just completely bonkers.
Approaching Earth levels of CDR, which of course we can't get to here on the Rift, unfortunately. Eternal will pop a ward in, but Lupa with the smite is going to take the Grump away.
Yeah, but what that will mean, and what I really want to point out, is against Nautilus, CDR boots are just probably the best pickup you can have in the game. His auto attack does so much. The slow is annoying in the team fight, especially now it's just on such a low cooldown. Not to mention there's a point and click route on the enemy team. You really want to have those Merc Treads, and so far, no one on KX Happy's lineup has gone with it. They're so susceptible to picks in the mid game. I think they've missed a trick here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Dade here who's kind of the spokesperson for Merc Treads in the mid lane, especially at this point. Loves to buy this item almost to a fault in certain situations, but it looks great in this meta, and that's good for Dade.
Yeah, and I love that you pointed out he did it on everything. Did it on Yasuo, does it on his Azir, and he's going deep.
He is going in. Pops the ulti, runs in. It's sort of interesting to see the speed up being relevant there in the matchup against Vlad, but all that consistent damage here in the mid lane. Ryze able to keep up and almost compete with the spell vamp there.
Yeah, and the thing about Ryze is that he's all about the consistent damage. Sork boots are great on like Ahri, champions like that that are about getting one big spell rotation out, blowing someone up, getting away, because the flat pen, early game especially, is just so gold effective. However, Dade, that's not the kind of player he is. He wants to be in there for the late game team fights, brawling with these guys. He's a machine gun AP at this moment, scaling off all of that mana. So really is a smart move as we see Lupa going deep.
Yeah, Lupa is so strong, has the Trinity Force, pops the smite down as well. Ultimate just short there for Lupa, but TRN's going to be forced away. SMLZ will get the turret, but Ultimate landing down as well. Condi going to peel them off. Good Black Shield. Going to keep the Sejuani safe. A good returner for KX to protect their AD carry.
Yeah, but they don't have a teleport, so they're going to have to trade a turret for a dragon again. M3 will be able to grab the second dragon of the game. They grabbed the bottom turret, I believe, so it's 2 turrets to 2 turrets now with Lupa taking his top. Now the third one being picked up by KX, but overall a much better movement. You got the summoner spells out of Sivir. You got the ultimate. There was no way counter-engage was going to come through, and it was just all through a very heads-up Lupa play.
Yeah, and as we look now, 2 dragons to 1, 3 to 2 in turrets after Malkai taking the trade, but only 1,000 gold up here for M3, so a fairly close game, and with all the scaling that's happening, not too surprising.
Yeah, exactly right. They're just waiting to get into their sweet spot. I just want to point it out one more time. There are 3 sets of Merc Treads that are going to be finished off by M3, and only 1 currently coming through for KX Happy. And with the tank meta, with all the CC, going to be able to shrug off a lot of the CC.
Yeah, and it's just an issue. It's a lot of soft but consistent CC, and Merc Treads is fantastic in that situation. Maybe if we even go too deep on the soft CC, could see the return of Swifty spawn.
A man can dream.
I knew that would make you happy as Lupa returns to the top side. Massively.
Buff of the Grump. He's been picking up every single time it's off cooldown, and it's just so much damage. You throw in the
but still getting the creeps anyway, thanks to the gift of the Toadstool there. So, nice stuff from Lupa. I mean, he's had a great game. It's been a while since we've said that about Lupa, to be perfectly honest, but it's nice to see him finally looking good as Dade fired up in Game 1.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's having a pretty good one so far. He's finished off the Seraphs. He's got the Roa, so both of his items fully stack. He's in mid-game Rise mode, and he's got there by like 25 minutes. That's pretty decent.
I mean, that's the part time that you'd love as a Rise player. Normally thinking closer to the 30-minute, possibly even the 35-minute Rise. Glacially slow when it comes to powering up, but dj's made it work at a very good clip. And we talk about the scaling here. It's hard to call an exact winner, but I think we might tip the hat to M3.
Yeah, because of the fact that they have someone to deal with the enemy AD, I'm definitely going to give it to M3, just because Looper at this point of the game is going to be much more effective than Turnal. If the situations were reversed and you had Eternal being able to dive and Vladimir with the follow-up damage, definitely would have given it over to KX Happy, because they have a good, consistent team fight coming through. But yeah, if Looper just able to get that smite through the ultimate, charge onto the backline, take one member out. We've seen this is why LeBlanc, even though it's a tank-heavy meta, is still so important, because in a two-threat comp, if you can remove one threat, there's just not enough damage to get it done.
Yeah, it's just so much easier once you get to that stage of the game. And Hecarim's been a popular pick throughout the meta as a result. He's kind of a bruiser, I guess, does get tanky towards the late game. Probably look for Looper to move into tank items now that he's got his big damage items coming through. And KX Happy, we expect them to have a couple of struggles here in their first opening game. And right now, M3 looking like the 9th place LPL team, a team that barely missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they certainly are looking good. And you think, where was this M3 that was playing against Vici, the controlled M3 that wasn't rushing things? You saw after that initiation in the bottom lane, Looper was more than happy to back away and take the dragon. What cost M3 was the fact that they wanted to fight straight away after they got their Baron, weren't in a lane where it was used to any effect. So, wow.
Yeah, Lupin is going in at this point. I don't think he really cares who he finds, as Nune with the Black Shield will assault himself over the wall to safety. But M3 maybe want that mid tower. They're looking to push it, but TRN's going to join in as well for a bit of wave clear. Dragon not back up quite yet, but M3 starting to get some more aggressive vision down as Vlad getting caught, forced to pull out the depth trap, landing in on Sejuani. Ultimate in there, gets a bit of a mini stun against the wall, but Condi, slight misfire there.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it was all the fact that Looper wasn't there, so they couldn't really take a fight. Both teleports nearly back up. Of course, Eternal's just off cooldown, so they'll continue to try and pressure in, but as we mentioned, the League of Tanks, sieging is not an easy task.
No.
There's so much anti-dive coming through that you can't really dive turrets anymore. Everyone takes so long to kill, and you just don't have that long-range AD carry.
Yeah, Sivir pretty safe on the wave clear. Vlad actually surprisingly safe on defensive wave clear duty as well. So Looper instead will take his favorite thing. It's the Grump.
Yeah, so he grabs another Grump for himself. It's probably the most important buff on the map late game. Like blue buff, red buff, everything included. Grump is probably the best, apart from the 5th Dragon or Baron, which helps out everyone. Solo buff-wise, Condi and Looper, if they can grab both buffs, will win most team fights.
Yeah, it's one of the cool benefits of running the Smite teleport, specifically on the red side, actually. We didn't even quite mention it, but if that's something that's going to be more popular, teams tend to want the red side already. I mean, that's just one additional advantage you get as well.
Yeah, it certainly is a good one. And there's a cheeky thing you can do on blue side, though, if you are a really push-heavy top laner, and that's go smite their Raptors for the Raptor sense and always have a clear top lane for ganks. We haven't really seen it that much so far because of all the lane swaps, but particularly early game, it is very worthwhile to go grab that one.
Yeah, I feel like we're still definitely learning the intricacies of the Cinderhawk top laners, but teams are starting to get better at it, starting to get more aggressive with the neutral clearing, with the 2 smites, starting to get better at just taking away the jungle buffs, or even using the smite in different situations. It's been great to see the evolution. Vlandre, I don't know what you started, but it's been a crazy world since you did.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and I actually really like the diversity it's adding. There's another layer to lane swaps now. All of a sudden, maybe you have to start forcing 1v1s. We're used to saying force a 2v1 because your AD is weak, but if you're not in a position to be able to challenge the smite, you have to go up there with one person so you can gank the lane.
Yeah, you do, as we see KX Happy trying to push some of these lanes out here. Dragon up at a minute 40 would be M3's 3rd and KX's 2nd. Again, it's been a fairly slow game. The gold slightly pushing ahead now in favor of M3 after some decent fights, but with all the scaling going on, it's expected to be a longer game. Certainly seen 5.6 show us closer to that 45-50 minute range as far as average game length goes, but KX continuing to rotate here. My only worry might just be that their comp, we said it in draft, maybe a bit too mid-game focused for this pace of game.
Yeah, it certainly is a mid-game focused comp just because of the Sivir, and she's 4-1-2, so she's going to be completely fine late game. There's a couple of CS behind, about 30 odd at this point, but is still having a very good early game, so Siva, she's scaling up nicely. She's got her last Whisper to start shredding through some of this armor. Will be doing meaningful damage to Lupa. But I completely agree. In the late game, when you have to deal with Lupa diving on top of you, she needs some more tools to be able to get it done.
Yeah, like the Mikhails there from W as a result will supplement the Black Shield for additional peel coming through. Wonderful see the Rylas coming through for Vlad. Actually has the Zhonya's now as well. So there's options here for KX. They're not massively outscaled in the late game, I don't think, but certainly M3 with just a slight edge there. And Dragon, people starting to set up vision. No one's really gone into the neutral zone here to try and clear some vision out. Even M3 is going to clear what's on their side.
Yeah, the problem is that both initiators are in the top side of the map right now, so they feel a little bit unsafe. A, of getting picked by the Rise and all of the CC that will come through from Love CD, or B, just getting caught by Nunai in that jungle, just going to be able to rip people apart if they do get anything down from the Sejuani. Very tanky at this point. And you see, no one really willing to fight.
No, Condi threatening there as well. Giant Spell's done for him along with a Locket, so good tank items coming through. Nunai actually in a similar situation. No massive extra health just yet. A Chain Vest actually instead to join in with the Sightstone. But M3 pull away the Dragon. They're going to look to go in, and Lupa's already run down the lane.
Yeah, so Lupa's run down here. He won't have that big home guard boost coming through, but will still be strong. They're going to fight.
Yeah, Dragon going to go low, but Kalista will secure it with the Ren. Ultimate coming in, and Tritra going nuts there on the Vlad. Dade blocks him up, and Lupa's right in the back line. Dives in onto TRN, and Siva has to flash over the wall. Vladimir is going to go down. Zonya's at the very last second. Condi going to get locked up, but he's so tanky, and Vlad finally falls to Lupa. W going to be under the same fate. Eternal flashes away, but gets tagged by a Ren. Flash forward there as Dade gets another kill, and it's 3-0 plus the Dragon for M3.
And pastry time. You see the usefulness of the Merc trade. 3 members got hit by that Glacial Prism, and it just did absolutely nothing. M3 able to run away with the team fight. They're going to grab Baron off it, and this is the only problem with Siva in this meta. She had to flash over to Rain, and because she's so short range, could not get any work done. If that was a Tristana, if that was a Caitlyn or a Jinx, would just have been able to free hit over the wall. Instead, had to run around to rejoin, and it just meant there was no damage to be done.
Even Kalista, who's remained surprisingly popular in this metagame, despite all the tanks, she can struggle there sometimes. Also would have been okay there, so M3 get the Baron. They actually don't get the mid-outer turret, which is somewhat hilarious, but shouldn't be nearly as hard to see. In fact, Dade, he's on it. He gets it down.
Yeah, able to grab it now. They've just opened up a 7,000 gold lead. We were talking about how it was only 2,000. Game probably on the balance right now. If M3 are able to use this buff to take down some more turrets, you feel Masters 3 very safe. But KX happy. They're still in a reasonably good position. They had probably the worst team fight you could imagine, and it was still pretty close.
Yeah, not too bad here. They've certainly got tools to win these fights. It's just a matter of getting into slightly better positions and trying to get that damage done. Vlad lived for so long there in the backline, but Lupa, as far as divers go, just a bit outclassed there.
Yeah, he certainly is, and we'll just see. Sorry, a little bit of stuttering coming through, but get that under control, and Lupa's been caught out a little bit, has to ult.
Ulti coming through there as well. Actually, Siva popped in there looking for a pick, but Lupa has his ulti, does use it, can dash away with the charge as well. We've seen no flash hack room for a while, but still pretty hard to catch as Condi going to get onto Eternal, but it's just a bit of poke damage.
Yeah, just some poke damage coming through, but you see Gragas does do some meaningful damage in the mid game if you don't have MR, because of that percentage health he is able to do, and they're just looking to catch some people out. I think that was a flash blown from W there.
Yeah, Morgana did use the flash there, so a little bit unsafer now as we see moving in to steal some of the Raptors away. Do get some of that down, and again looking for a couple picks here. M3 starting to move the vision more aggressively, keep Lupa tagged in a lane. He looks like bottom side is going to be where he's pushed up. A Thornmail now complete as well. Plenty of good options. It's just a matter of M3 making the most of their Baron buff.
And wow, Dade seems to agree that Woda is a good item on Vlad, because he's not going to get a Frozen Heart, probably going to go for... I actually don't know what he's going to grab instead, but he's going to have 40% CDR just off the fact that he would have some on his runes and masteries, and then the Woda as well as the Spirit Viz. He's going to be very tanky in this mid game.
Yeah, who knows? Probably going to maybe GA. We've got a couple of defensive choices here, but Dade quite strong at this point of the game. Lots of consistent damage. That's what we talk about. The spell vamp going to keep him nice and happy. He's kind of going to be poor man's Vladimir almost.
Yeah, he certainly is. He has just as good consistent damage in the late game. Probably better at taking on 1v1 targets than Vlad, but Vlad, in an AoE situation, is complete king still. Always has been, really. It's just been so hard to get him through laning phases, but that's become a lot easier on this current patch. And M3, they're starting to siege up the base.
Yeah, big pressure here coming through. SMLZ pretty confidently going forward. Tower does go down. Looper gets initiated on Akondi. Going to move again, but Looper with a massive ulti as SMLZ QSS is out and continues to hop away. Looper getting lower. Turner gets knocked back by the Gragas ulti. Dade in the backline going in deep there as Vlad falls to Kondi. Maokai goes down to Kalista. 2 kills and an in hit for M3.
Yeah, and they're looking to push in on the Nexus turrets as well. That might be the game pastry time, and M3 really making a statement.
Yeah, first game here. SMLZ aggressive flash forward, but that's the surrender coming through for KX Happy and a confident first game.
Yeah.
But Looper outclassing everyone on Hecarim.
Yeah, certainly did, and we said eternally he had to play well if they were going to win this series. Wasn't able to, but on the side of KX Happy, Churchery, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, it was a strong opening game actually from KX Happy, so we'll see what they can bring to the second game. Of course, a best of 5 coming up, and game 2 between M3 and KX is coming right up. Welcome everyone back to the English coverage of the LPL summer promo and playoffs here. My name is Julian Pacetime Card. Joining me is Jake's Points here, and we're here for the promo match of the day. It's M3 versus KX Happy, and M3 currently up a game.
Yeah, they took game one in pretty emphatic fashion in the end. KX Happy came out swinging with some dives and four-man ganks coming through onto Dade, but they were able to scale through the rough part of the game. They had the Hecarim, they had the Rise, got to late game, and they just won so many team fights.
Yeah, and I have to say, I was crediting Dade for strong play, but really praising Looper at the end of that game for a fantastic Hecarim performance. But to be perfectly honest, Spawn, that was just a good team game there by M3.
Yeah, and finally, everyone on the team played well at the same time, pastry time. This is what we've been waiting for from M3 the whole split. Looper would go off on Nara and Dade would feed somewhere on the map. They finally got it together. And they did it without Azir. I'm speechless. They've broken the curse.
Yeah, Dade had like 2 bans thrown at him. There were 4 mid lane bans total. There were a couple of support bans there as well, but Love City got away the Nautilus. Bottom lane looked great for them as well. As you said, everyone finally coming together. Even Condi, great performance on the Gragas as well. This was the empty we expected to see at the end of the LPL split, but at least they're showing up now. Is it going to go through the KX boys? Or some of them, we might have had... We've had a substitution here. Ukulon joining in. Substitute Eddie carry player for KX.
Yeah, so we'll have to see exactly what he brings to the lineup. Looks a little bit more mid-game focus coming through there. We had Siva coming out before, but see if he is willing to grab a Trinity Force user. You feel the more of these Kalista games we see, the more Trinity Force users can beat her in lane at least.
And it's kind of funny to see that we're so used to substitutions in the best of 2 format in the LPL regular season. Flame coming in all the time for LGD. Some of the game ones actually he came in, obviously usually in game 2 there for that team, but weird to see a substitution in a best of 5, but strategically a good option here for KX to have.
Yeah, and you'll have to see what it's about, whether they play 2v2 with an AD and then they play 1v2 with a separate one. Whether it's a strategical champion pool thing. If they pull out Siva and play 2v1 again, I'll be completely confused as to what the heck is going on, because didn't have a bad game. 4-1 at some point there in the bottom lane. So we'll have to see how they go here with Ulkorn over TRN.
Yeah, so subbing in a player again. Something we're starting to see a little bit more around the world. We've got squads now, not just teams, and we're about to jump back into our next draft here. Best of 5 here, of course, single elimination. Brutal stuff here in both the playoffs and the promo.
Yeah, it certainly is, but best of 5 does give you some hope. Generally, you do grab the best team off that off the series there, and we are going to jump into Champ Select shortly. I want to see if they ban away the Rise.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple adaptations. M3, another Twisted Fate ban targeting the mid laner over on KX. Azir banned away again. We could see 4 identical bans, but M3 already going to shift it up. A Vlad ban in there as well up against that mid laner. And LeBlanc Azir, the first 2 bans aimed straight at Dade once more.
Yeah, so we might actually have 6 mid lane bans if they go with the Cho'Gath as well as the Rise coming through here. I'm surprised that M3 wanted to ban Vladimir, because that seems to be the one matchup that Rise relatively comfortable in.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not happy. First picking it, would have to drop late, could maybe give it over. Cho'Gath banned again here, and there's the Rise. So 6 mid lane bans, count them.
Yeah, and what does Dade play now? You see the flex pick Annie coming through here for Looper.
Looper, always flashing the flex pick Annie. I mean, they've got lots of good options. They can take Sedge if they want to. Urgot open as well. And, of course, Hecarim was a big one there for Looper. Even Maokai has been super popular as far as first picks go, but going to play it safe and pick up the ever-good support, but a bit of flexibility for Looper as well.
Yeah, so you would expect Hecarim Thresh to probably be the 2 picks that come through from KX Happy. Although grabbing a jungler also a good idea. Hecarim is locked in straight away for Eternal. I like that. A little bit more carry-orientated out of the star top laner for KX, so we'll see exactly what comes through.
KX there flushing the Maokai with already the Hecarim locked in, so potential shenanigans abounding now, but when we're probably going to see a jungle pick, Rek'Sai being open, says to me that KX probably want to take it away, even just to deny it from Condi, who's had some great Rek'Sai games in the regular split. They're going to take their time, though, and it is actually a Maokai. Oh, they swapped on me. Nautilus there, along with Hecarim.
Yeah, so I actually thought I was going to see it. The return of jungle Maokai.
No, not yet,
Not
Spawn.
yet. I got it in my back pocket. I don't think it's horrible. That's the thing, but we'll see exactly how it goes. Condi, he's going for a proven good jungler here.
Yep, Sejuani potentially coming through. Rek'Sai open as well. Plenty of good options coming through, but KX hiding some of their picks here. Got some decent flexibility between Nautilus and Hecarim, but M3 going to think carefully through what they want. AD carries. Interesting. Kallista's back again if SLMZ wants to take it away, but might just keep on the carry trend for Lupa in particular. We talked about it, and you haven't seen it top lane for M3 in a while, and it is Sejuani and Shyvana.
And I'm expecting Lupa to do this all series pastry time. Just swap between the Hecarim and the Sejuani, depending on whether he's on blue or red. Shyvana. Hecarim very good at dueling in lanes. Shyvana more about pushing out the lane, going to find the enemy jungle and taking away all the jungle experience. So they do different things, but kind of still the same playstyle, diving on the backline in those team fights.
Yeah, still looking for that teleport smite, looking to get big with the Cinder Hulk and just go massive and be a huge tank and a threat at the same time. We saw Lupa using his smites wonderfully on the red side on his Hecarim, but KX, they've locked in the Urgot. They're going to have a big beefy bottom lane, and Rek'Sai will drop late in the picks for them as well.
I want to see what they take mid lane with this pastry time. Not much damage coming out so far for the KX lineup. They have good dive onto the AD carry, might be able to get rid of someone, but with all the persistent coming through, damage coming through from Shyvana, from Sejuani, you expect dj to also take a persistent damage mid laner. It's very, very tough ask to be able to wear through them with the lineup they've got.
Yeah, it's a great Civer comp actually for M3 as well. I don't know how the matchup fares necessarily, but with 6 mid lane bans, we have to have some changes here. Maybe the team's just being like, what's left that we can possibly pick here? But they are going to lock in Civer. I love the pick in the comp, and dj back to Xerath.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to have to disagree with you here. M3 have gone 2 stationary carries on the back line, and that means Hecarim could potentially have the field day coming through here. Cassiopeia left up here in the mid lane for Churchy, so we'll have to see how that works out. He would be counter-picking himself because he's going to get absolutely smashed in lane.
Yeah, I mean, the pick makes sense against the comp. I think Cassio versus Civer in general is just fine. And against his big divers, the ultimate's great when you're playing defensively especially. Again, the mid lane pool got shredded here from all the bans that got thrown. 6 mid lane bans in this second game here, and not many options left. Churchy's going to take Cassio.
Yeah, that is mind-boggling. When you have a Xerath in the lane and Ahri is still available, generally you just want to pick that one up. I mean, try and kill him in the mid game with so much pick potential already coming through. You got the swap, you got all the CC from Nautilus. You've got Rek'Sai, who's fantastic ganking. Makes a little bit more sense, but going with a very difficult matchup, to be honest. At some point, dj's just going to be able to shove out that lane, and there is 0 kill potential.
I mean, they have to be worried about damage at that point, right? They're just like, Ahri, not enough damage. Cassiopeia, great sustained damage mage, and they must be picking for comp there, because that is a counter pick.
Yeah, it certainly is a comp pick. I agree with you there, trying to get Lupa off the back line, but we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, Shyvana versus Hecarim, our first matchup in the top side there. Lupa taking on Eternal, much more carry potential in the top side of the map, and we're going to see this matchup a lot as we move through playoffs. Sejuani versus Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Rek'Sai, advantage early game. We'll be able to gank a lot better. The matchup we were talking about, dj versus Churchery, it's Xerath versus the Cassiopeia, and that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is indeed. As SMLZ back to Civer here to help get those tanks into the backline, and Ulkorn on everyone's favorite Urgot.
Yeah, Urgot just showing a huge resurgence at this point. Love CD, he has his Annie versus W on Nautilus. Urgot Nautilus, a very beefy bottom lane. Going to be hard to fight.
Yeah, it's kind of a smart pick there against the Annie, just being like, yeah, you can ultimate now. Can't kill either of us. We're so tanky. So I like what's going on. I do like what M3's going on. I'm curious to see how they will play it here, but dj especially, this is a big carry game for him.
Yeah, it certainly is. He has to get going early. Needs to shut down this Cassiopeia. Greedy late game pick coming through from KX, and if they can make them pay early, start stacking up the objectives, siege down turrets with dj, you feel M3 have a very clear win condition.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked good so far. Lupa can go off as well. We'll see if he does it. We're about to get into game 2. And welcome onto the Rift here for our second game of this best of 5 here for the LPL Summer Promotion Tournament. The LPL's M3 taking on the LSBL's KX. Happy with M3 currently up a game.
Yeah, so M3, they took game 1, and we see already Xerath versus... Oh, wow, dj.
Yeah, Took just missing though. Could have maybe been a kill. Cassio, good level 1 damage, but they're going to give it up. Just hitting the terrain there. Not what he wanted, unfortunately.
Yeah, it certainly was not. He wanted a champion. They do get some deep wards down, so they will know exactly where Sedge is starting, which will go in KX's favor.
Yeah, just a bit of early vision, always nice. Want to keep track of these tanky junglers, and of course Rek'Sai does have the ability to pressure that Sedge. We see her get low so often after doing that full clear, and it's about time that some people start walking into that jungle and just killing her.
Yeah, so we'll see exactly if that is what happens. Lane swap coming through from Masters 3. You see the duo lane heading top and Shyvana burning out through the mid lane.
It's pretty beneficial to swap with the smites that are coming through for top lane as well. But KX looking for that 2v2. Pretty aggressive lane with the Urgot Nautilus. So understandably, Sivir Annie going to get out of its way.
Yeah, so do not want to go anywhere near that. Able to get across the other side of the map. Nautilus, of course, being originally a jungler, will have a much better roaming impact, you think, in the early game. Annie a little bit squishier. Nautilus can engage from further away, and he's very flash reliant, so we'll see whether they can make that work from W. And you see already Dade at level 1 starting to try and bully. He did this last game, and the problem with Cassiopeia, so you see the harass trade good, auto attack trade good. As soon as Dade has any levels, Cassio tries to zone him. Dade just throws a stun as they walk in, gets half the health in one chunk, and backs away from the trade without doing anything. So I don't even actually think he needs to try and trade now.
Good heal from Dade. I mean, that's exactly what Cassio has to do, is try and all in at level 2 with the Twin Fang. Cassio's early levels are excellent, like you mentioned, but Dade uses the heal very defensively, but he needs to get to level 3 and be safe.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll see if that can happen as we see Love CD trying to pressure here. Needs to be careful. Is pinging it out. Yeah, they're on the strong side of the map because that's where their 2 people are, but they did rotate W around. Yeah,
I actually like that they're keeping the Nautilus in there as well. Probably going to try and gank Dade again anyway, so why not keep his support in the safe zone?
Yeah, exactly right. Making sure he hasn't been spotted on the map. So you don't know where the Nautilus is, although he's been pinged out now because he stood on top of a ward. And Dade, he is being focused a little bit. No, they're going to the blue buff.
Yep, going to try and steal something away, or at least keep track of this Edgewani, but Condi had a very easy time in the jungle so far, clearing out actually his side of the jungle. Bit of weird lane swap, honestly. No vertical jungling, but benefiting a lot of different places around the map.
We're going to have a 3v3 in the top lane, Pastry
Yeah, it's actually, that's where they want to go instead, as Nunai going to come in as well. Love City gets hooked there by the Nautilus. Eternal diving in as well. Flash knuckle there into SMLZ. They need to pick targets. Condi roaming in there as well. And Nunai going to go down. First blood, and the double buffs go to Sivir, and that red buff going to work. Now damage comes in. SMLZ gets a double kill.
That was awful. They kept walking into the Annie, who had a stun and hit all 3 members with the W. Lupa now in the bottom lane trying to bully out Ulkon. That's not going to work. That's an Urgot, Lupa. Run away.
Yeah, out of mana, thankfully, so Urgot not able to dish out too much harass. Lupa actually a level advantage after teleporting to the lane due to the early jungling he was able to do on Shyvana. So stuff looking good in the solo lanes for M3, and that top lane went wonderfully.
Yeah, it certainly did. They've got 2 kills. There's a 24-5 CS advantage for Lupa. He's picked up exactly where he left off, and M3 fans everywhere going, that's fantastic, Lupa. You're playing well in the relegation tournaments. We appreciate it, but please next season try and keep it up.
Yeah, we'll see if you can make it through. But I have to say the smite just helped out top laners in general. It feels like all of your early game choices no longer severely punish you, because if you ever get lost in the jungle, okay, fine, I have a smite now.
Yeah, exactly right. You clear better than most junglers, honestly, with the current meta champion pool of top lane, of course. So, Shyvana, if I do that one more time. So Shyvana as well as Hecarim, they farm very well, especially the AoE camps.
Yep, look good here, and you can tell by Lupa's CS here, doubling the Hecarim still. Level 5, approaching 6 quite swiftly here on that Shiv. And Love City looking for a gank. Eternal will get away to recall though, and he's got his flask, he gets his machete. Maybe thinks, you know what, it's not safe in the top lane, time to jungle.
Yeah, that's exactly what he thinks. He's just trying to pick up the extra gold. That's why I'm surprised that we see the Ruby Crystal out of Shyvana so much, because you get 15 extra gold from every camp. If you do take that machete, it's just such a worthwhile purchase early game.
I mean, maybe not so effective in the lane if you end up in your 1v1 could be the reason, but we've certainly started to see top laners again experiment with the early machete, and especially if you can snowball in an early level 1 fight and get it, you can really power clear some minions, or monsters, sorry, but KX on top of an early dragon, due to all the swapping shenanigans, they should be able to pick this one up very neatly.
Yeah, they'll pick it up, and you know, they probably should have just gone for that instead of the top lane fight in the first place, because it's a very easy objective. They grab it at about the 5-minute 45 mark, so we'll be up again before maybe when you expect the first dragon, around that 12-13 minute mark. But in the end, M3, they're going to be able to grab a lot of turret damage.
Yeah, SMLZ just fast pushing now on the Sivir, has a quick BF sword after that 2-0, and that means the turrets, they are not lasting long.
Yeah, and they're looking for a gank here on Nunai. We complimented his jungle pathing this game. He's sticking around on the dangerous side of the jungle a little bit too often for me. Knew Condi was there because of Tremor Sense, but Condi might be able to pick this one up.
Smite Wars, Nuna should get his back relatively soon, I believe. Love City joining in as well. They're going to try and battle over the creep. Smite still not hit for Rex, actually quite a bit longer on the cooldown, and Condi might just be able to smite it away. Going to run in and gets it.
Yeah, that's devastating for the Rek'Sai. He did so much work. Put in all the man hours, but in the end, it was just stolen away.
Yep, it's Dade now level 6, going to battle against the Cassio, low on mana here as Dade pops the heal again. Great Sun coming through, Love City, they're going to come in as the cleanse and the flash get used by Cassio. Miasma there for a bit of slow, still throwing out the Noxious Blast, has the ulti to disengage, and Love City, no flash crucially.
Yeah, no flash coming through there, so not able to get it done, but wow.
Jeez, yeah, solo for Siver in the top side, SMLZ 3-0 in 7 minutes.
Yeah, 36 CS ahead. If you go the head-to-head matchup with Eternal, who he's kind of laning against at the moment, the range, the BF saw just nothing in Hecarim's favor and able to burn him down. They'll grab the turret as well. A fantastic early game out of M3.
Yeah, this Siver's been doing work, and SMLZ in this series as Condi finds onto the Cassio. Ulti there coming through for Dade. Great hits landing, but not quite in range for the last one. Just throwing out a bit of poke, and good combo there.
Yeah, so they throw it through. They get the ultimate out of Cassio. Now no kill potential in the mid lane because there's no flash. You can't walk forward without your cleanse. Sometimes you just need to eat the stun to get in range of Xerath, and everything going a little bit wrong.
Yeah, things looking nice here for M3. You can see a gold lead crept up quite aggressively, actually, of about 2,000 gold or so, maybe even 3, because my math is absolutely trash. But SMLZ pickaxe done now as well, and just maybe finally starting to justify his place on the roster over Candy. You had a great LPL.
Yeah, Candy was looking promising. We were very confused when he was put on the roster, but the faith in SMLZ has paid off. It's kind of his meta because he's an Urgot player as well, but he's shown that he can play many other picks. And Dade, now that he's got that advantage in the mid lane, starting to zone. He's got 6 CS the advantage, but more importantly, Cassio cannot go near the wave.
Yeah, and Churchy with that tier. No combat stats really against Dade. It's just amp tone Doran rings at this point. Dade, free reign there as Love City level 3 aggressively coming through, but Siver just so confident at this stage of the game with such an early lead.
Yeah, he got the double boomerang through, and of course another tier being picked up. Thought I didn't have to speak about this too much anymore, but double tier comps, you always have to be aware of them. Saw a very good resurgence of them when Rise Jace was very popular in like Season 2, Season 3 coming through there. I worry about teams that are running so late game against these mid-game people like Shyvana, like Siver. This isn't a late game composition coming out of M3. It does completely fine in the late game, but mid game, these guys are monsters.
Yeah, and they're just showing it right now as Lupa going to start really putting the hurt onto Eternal. Actually 2 levels ahead. Going to force the Rek'Sai ultimate defensively, and Lupa, again, quick skirmish to Saber Cinderhawk done, starting to push really aggressively. That's 82 to 32, a 50 CS difference in the top.
Yeah, and to show how good Lupa's done this game, he was in a lane swap against Urgot, who is a lane bully, and he's the highest CS on the map. He's completely destroyed what KX Happy is trying to do here, and you see across the map, they've lost every single lane, and that's horrible news.
Yeah, SMLZ is continuing to press aggressively in the bottom side as well. Pickaxe here for Urgot, going to be a bit more ready on the combat front, but SMLZ at this point, Infinity Edge is coming quickly, and Love City even positioning aggressively. Just no cares in the world here for M3's bottom lane. So far ahead right now.
Yeah, they certainly don't, because if they can bait any damage down onto Love CD, SMLZ is just going to free hit, and that's the exact situation you want to be in. So you don't want to commit anything to the Annie. In saying that, she just throws out so much CC at this point in the game that every now and again you have to give her a warning shot.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I've loved SMLZ's spell shield as well as Condi's down here, throws the ulti, tags Con with the slow. That's going to force the flash out from W, but Condi, a bit of pressure, gets some summoners and backs away.
Yeah, double summoner spells. That's so worthwhile because Dragon's up in a minute 30, and if you cannot position aggressively with Urgot, you may as well not be in this fight. So KX Happy probably going to have to give it up.
And I think the thing I love here as we pop back in the mid is exactly this. Dade, no chance needed right now, just full-on aggression. Needlessly large rod as his first major item.
Yeah, and we speak about it so much. If you're able to go back and grab that 1,600 gold item, it's just so hard not to. Dade had the blue buff, so he's able to get it done. And the zoning really coming through now. He's got it up to 10 CS and looking to get even more aggressive.
Love City getting hooked a little bit low. No tip is available. Ultimate pop by SMLZ defensively. Now going to pop his way back in. Condi, flash aggressive there with the Arctic Assault. W getting 2 low falls down to Condi. Eternals here as well, but Looper will also join in on Shyvana. Ultimate ready to go, but M3 just going to prep for the Dragon.
Yeah, and Eternal, he wanted to get aggressive, but Looper matched the teleport at the perfect time. They might dive.
Yeah, they are going to dive here. Eternal has to run away. No Silver ulti. Makes it a bit tricky. Looper going to zone instead. They'll get the turret. They'll rotate in for the Dragon because right now Cassio can't leave lane to Xerath.
Yeah, Xerath just pushes in so much quicker than Cassio at this point, so even if she does leave, Dade just going to shove that one out. Dade a little bit ohm, so he's losing some lane control. He just farms from anywhere, though. That's the problem with this lane. Cassio, she wants to be a lane bully, wants to have kill potential. She just doesn't have it.
Yeah, has a bit there. Dade again early on the heel. Wants to make sure it doesn't get all in too aggressively, but no Ignite coming through. Flash there from Dade. Great reflexes, dodging the Cassio pure ult.
Yeah, and they're all in here for a gank. Looper coming around.
Yeah, you can see why he was looking for the stun there, but Eternal's joining in. Nunai down as well, and Shyvana might be forced to ultimate defensively here, but so tanky just with the Cinderhulk.
Yeah, able to get in there for the smite, and surprising damage also coming out of Looper at this point in the game. Has he gone... He's gone W max as well, so that's completely bonkers damage out of a W max Shyvana. Normally you expect that from an E max, but W, not known for its dueling potential, able to come up huge.
Yeah, it is good consistent damage, good clearing as well. It's kind of the reason he's been farming up a Storm so far, hitting 100 CS already against poor Eternals, who's only at 60 right now on the Hecarim. And again, it's sort of the star player coming through as we have the ulti used by Looper. Wants to get aggressive. Nuno, those ganking as well. Great knockup coming in, and Eternal finally gets a kill back.
Yeah, so they're able to get a kill, but it will mean a Dragon goes across unless they can grab the turret. Not really worthwhile. They will pick it up. So in the end, you got to say that's pretty good play coming out of KX.
Yeah, M3 going to equalize the Dragons here. KX, of course, got the early one in all the lane swaps there as Love City finds the ward, sweeps it away. Rek'Sai joining in, but it's the top side of the map, so not going to move in for a Dragon seal. And Dade going back to shop, gets the Dragon, Chalice, finished up there as well. And just so much pressure as Nunai trying for a gank, but Dade on the right side of the lane.
Yeah, and this is what you do. You just cheat towards the side of the lane that has a ward. Of course, he had a ward top side as well, now being swept out. But if you're on that side of the lane, they're never going to be able to really gank you. And you can see Dade, as soon as he grabs the next blue buff, you feel this lane is just completely over for the Cassiopeia. Done very admirably to stay in the lane. I thought it would be a lot worse than what it is, but Dade, he's just been looking a little bit better in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, quite a bit cleaner here for Dade. We expect him to show up in playoffs. Didn't make it, but promotion might as well be playoffs here for Dade. It's clutch moments like this that he really excels and has a great first 2 games so far. And Dade really just doesn't care about his mana pool right now, throwing out every spell.
Yeah, he certainly is, and just able to get a lot of it back from how Chalice works now. And you see Looper trying to invade aggressively, wants that buff for himself, won't probably be able to get it.
But buys enough time potentially for the blue buff. Still M3 going to force a difficult choice onto KX Happy. Which buff do they want to defend? Because there are 2 smites on M3, 2 on KX as well, but they're not in a position to contest both of them.
Yeah, they certainly are. We'll see whether Cassio, she just goes back, so they're completely giving up control over this buff, although M3 don't know that, so they're starting to muck around. No, they do get it. Yeah,
they're actually going for a bit of a 3v3. Looper still pressuring on the buff. Could have a smite ball between top laners. Looper gets it, though. Blue buff taken away by Dade as well, I believe. No, who got the blue buff?
So it must have been smarted away from Nunai. So he gets his blue buff. That's good. Now putting some pressure on the blue buff of M3. So they need to be careful because Dade, he needs a blue buff.
He does. I mean, again, he's been acting like he's had one this whole time just with the Chalice. So going to move towards it. Does sweep out looking for wards. Knows that that top side of the map not particularly safe right now as Nunai looking for a gank here on the top side. Sees the Scuttle Crab go, but wants to find Looper. But with the Giant Spot especially, Looper is extremely tanky.
Yeah, Looper is just impossible to kill. And the thing I like about taking Smite on Shyvana at the moment is that you don't need to take an offensive item. You just build tanky, you smite the Gromp before the buff, and you act like a jungler. You get all up in their face with your mixed damage. Just put out so much from your Smite, the Gromp, as well as like if you have a red buff at the same time. Just doesn't need the Blade of the Ruin King. Doesn't need any other wave clear.
Yeah, it just looks good now as Dade does get his blue buff here. Scuttle Crab doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, just missed it. Did go for the snipe there in the end. And wow, mid lane's actually swung right back around CS, completely even out here, even farming some of the creeps in the jungle as well. So Churchery, he's performing really well. Picked up a second item.
Done excellently, Kieran. He's got good team fighting potential now as well if KX want to maybe look to contest for that 3rd overall Dragon. Abyssal Scepter, kind of an item we've seen pick up a bit more, but I do like the choice in this situation.
Yeah, well, there's just so much magic damage coming out. It's only really Sivir that does any physical at this point. Stade, he's looking for some aggression here. Needs to be careful because there is a straight W waiting in the wings, waiting to take him out on that Nautilus.
Yeah, any CC that lands onto Dade, Cassiopeia will melt Xerath in any sort of damage trade. But Love City also looking for a counter gank on top of a ward, unfortunately, though. So unsuccessful so far as Dade, now level 11, continues to farm his life away as Lupa hanging out in the top lane, gets caught, but not really. It's Shyvana.
Yeah, there is no way that you actually catch him with his teleport. Ultimate up. Going to be able to jump over walls, traverses terrain very well.
Lupa feels like his permanent W on right now. That lasted for so long.
And now it's back.
Yeah, back again there. Helps with the speed up as well. And Eternal actually maybe gets soloed here on the Hecarim, still building in towards the next big item. He has to go back and spend a bit of gold. Cassiopeia continuing to get pressure, but Abyssal shaking off a lot more poke now.
Yeah, and that's a really nice pickup for exactly that reason. The defensive stats coming through really helping with a poke. It's very good offensively for Cassiopeia because she's always going to be in range for that. So you see that Dade not really doing that much damage, is continuing shoving in the lane, nullifies a lot of what Cassiopeia wants to be doing in the mid game, grouping up with her team and getting things done, but scales extremely well, so going to be in a good position.
Yeah, it's just a matter of KX setting up those big fights. There's a ton of CC on both sides here, so team fights, if we start to even things out on the item front, could get incredibly explosive. But M3 looking to rotate in for the mid tower. It's an important one to get, and a great rotation will pick it up for them.
Yeah, finally make an aggressive call. You're waiting for it to happen. They've got the advantage on their AD carry and top laner. They need to start pushing it around the map, and the more they group, the better off they will be at this point in the game. There is a minute on Dragon. You think that becomes the next very clear objective for Masters 3 to get in position. They started off the Scuttle Crab, going back for some wards.
And a good item pick up for Dade as well. Perfect item timing this time. Not quite the Rod of Aether's whoops, I'm late to my party that we saw on the Rise last time. Does have the Athenes now, and surprisingly good in any sort of team fight.
Yeah, it certainly is. The mana refresh coming through is definitely good, so watch for that if he ever does get low in these extended poke trades. Churchery, he's able to clean up a pink ward, so that's good news for him. And we see across the map some more farming coming through, but Dragon's up in 40 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to look in for it here as Dade hanging out. Going to keep farming away. Dragon back up in 34 seconds or so, so not quite there yet. We've got teleports up for the top laners as Lupa going to pressure a little bit onto Eternal. Don't have to rush for it quite now, but lots of wards in the river there on the bottom side of the map. Look for both teams to be contesting and picking up their second Dragon.
Yeah, so look for them to get aggressive here. They want to be able to grab that Dragon. Smite battle once again goes over to Lupa.
He's been practicing, man. Must have been doing a bit of smurfing, maybe playing some jungle, getting a feel for that Smite. And in all seriousness, top lane is taking Smite. One of the things they probably can't do above their junglers is know how to Smite well.
Yeah, exactly right. But if you get a 2-level advantage on anyone, probably going to be easier to Smite. And you see Lupa has got that at the moment. Ooh, not happy to go for the engage yet, Condi. Thought that would have been a thrown-out ultimate. There was 3 people standing on top of each other, but they're being patient.
Yeah, I mean, they can just buy time here. Lupa continuing to pressure Eternal, getting vision around the Dragon, denying some pink wards, got good defensive vision and pinks of their own. So KX, it's very dangerous for them to go in the river. Orcon going to get initiated on now as well. SMLZ will get that first kill. Nautilus getting chased will go down as well. And 2 picks for M3 should mean an easy Dragon.
Yeah, so now they'll turn around, pick up the Dragon, and that was just a go button hit from Love CD. They'll also grab a blue buff for their trouble. That one not going to be smited away from Nuna. And Lupa continuing the jungle pressure.
Yeah, doesn't need to be there for the Dragon, so takes away the red instead. Condi has a smite available for the Dragon, will take it away as M3 are able to pick up their second, and Love City even sweeping out some vision.
Yeah, they just took everything at that point. Lupa got the red, Dade got the blue, they got the Dragon. What an overall good turnaround coming out from M3.
Yeah, great stuff. And again, it's been clean team play that we've seen from M3 that's been really good to watch at this in this particular series. SMLZ going to go back. He's got Zeal, got Infinity Edge. Pretty massive right now on the Sivir. Looking to get a lot bigger here as Lupa pops into the top side. Just going to start to abuse a tunnel. That level disadvantage is ridiculous.
Yeah, it certainly is. Wait for Lupa to just continue to get in the faces of the enemy team. You see a bit of a duel coming through. No one really dying because of those challenges, Smart.
Yeah, having some fun. Little turn on now. Pops the ulti. Lupa could be in trouble. Nuna here as well. Going to get knocked up there after the ultimate. Lupa will go down as Rek'Sai claims the kill. And a good kill. Finally, Lupa's overextension costs him.
Yeah, it certainly does. They get the red buff back and they pick it up off Lupa's dead body. Whilst farming very well, Lupa's been a little bit too aggressive this game. His team wasn't even able to grab anything from that. Need to probably play around SMLZ's power spike in the moment because he's got this Phantom Dancer, he's got the Infinity Edge. He's a very strong member on the map.
And Condi coming in actually to protect the turret, but it does fall to KX as they take their first turret of the game. Condi instead will take away the Grump as his consolation prize as Lupa returns up to the top side of the map as well. It's funny that I just compliment M3 on playing solo as a team, and Lupa gets himself caught out.
Yeah, so it goes for the solo play. Not able to make it work there, but it's only a kill in the end. It is 6-2 pastry time. There's a 5,000 gold lead over on M3, so they're doing extremely well.
Yeah, strong stuff coming in now as M3 going to be moving in. We can see the fan reds completed for Sivir. Like you mentioned earlier, Rabadon's death cap done now for Dade, so a big power spike coming in there as well. We got good stuff across the board actually, and we might even have a bait being set up or a trap being set for the Urgot.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. They're camping out a brush right now, pastry time, trying to catch him out, and we'll see exactly what they can do to make it work.
Zudu see more wards being put down. M3 continuing to get vision out as well. We've got the early warding totem there from Lupa. I think that's the regular ward one. Don't know if that's the pink ward totem, but Lupa just getting aggressive vision, and M3 splitting up KX so well, just starting to push every frontier of the map.
Yeah, it is a regular one because you can see he has a couple of charges coming through, and they're very good for split pushing top laners actually. Because you're able to get 2 wards down, ward both entrances, not really get caught out the same way Lupa was before. So maybe that's what they're going for. We said that in the team fight, Hecarim will have the advantage. As a split pusher, Lupa interacts with neutrals very well.
And we've seen a lot of top laners just start to pick that up as their standard trinket as M3 on top of this turret. Actually, Cassio gets hit by a stun, but not too much follow-up damage. They will have to back away. Have plenty of disengage and engage CC, so KX can't extend too far here.
Yeah, certainly can't. This is the one thing I do like about Xerath in this composition. We mentioned how people struggle to siege. If your AD isn't a good sieger, just get a poke-heavy mid laner. They can force people off turret. Expect Dade to maybe land another Q, then just throw the R out onto Nautilus, someone like that, because he can push people very far back off these turrets.
And they've got engage, disengage, and dive options here as a big ulti lands in. 2-man tip as Bosti, Sejuani coming through. Now Cassio going to get chased down by Lupa as he's forced to flash the last bolt. Lupa backing away in the dragon form. Love City actually tanking up the turret, but another stun to go, and M3 are going to break the base.
Yeah, they break into the base. They grab a 7,000 gold advantage, and they do it off the back of their mid laner. Dade's been playing so aggressive and completely nailed Ulkon with that stun there. Landed everything on him and just took him out.
And again, good team play from M3. As soon as that initial stun landed, Flash Tip is going in. Condi threw out the ultimate as well on Sejuani. Picked up 2 members under the turret and just steamrolled through that inhibitor.
Yeah, so they were able to get in there. A very impressive fight means that they have broken open the base. And from there, M3, they're just going to look to continue this pressure game. They've got the Xerath. They're able to take through these structures, and game really looks in their favor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need here. Again, it's been consistently strong team play that we've seen come through for M3 here. Been looking fantastic throughout the whole series. And again, it's just the one thing. Where was this team at the end of the regular split?
Yeah, exactly right. That's how Vici beat them. They weren't able to team fight against Vici. Every single time Vici team fought, they had an advantage.
Yeah, and we can see we actually have problems. We've got a Love City going down actually to Cassiopeia. So a good bit of counterplay there coming through. But M3, a big lead here. And again, very late game scaling coming through for KX Happy, and at this point, given how far down they are, going to be difficult for them to come back. We pop back in. We do have a pretty big team fight breaking out. Nuna actually gets a kill onto Dade, so M3 getting quite caught out here. 3 for 2 right now in the exchange. Zessimozzi and Condi are forced to run away, but Nuna getting in aggressive. Hecarim, no ulti, can't quite chase him, but they'll get aggressive through the jungle. Condi will back away. They'll split up Will M3 to try and get away, and 3 for 2, not the trade they wanted.
Yeah, definitely not the trade they wanted, because it was Lupa, Dade as well as SMLZ fall. No, it wasn't. It was Love CD falling. So in the end, very, very nicely played by KX Happy, and they pick up some much-needed resources.
Yeah, and so all that gold lead here for M3, still sitting around the same spot of 7k ahead, but just weren't able to quite convert the last few fights. Got a bit caught out there, dragging back up in 35, so M3 will not quite lose it yet, but have to rush back now that everyone's respawned. Big gold values actually being spent there. In fact, SMLZ, he's got a gold mine to spend.
Yeah, he has. He's got about 3,000, as you can see, come across. And that's what I was going to say. The worrying thing here for M3 is that there's a 4,000 gold discrepancy between AD carries. If it ever gets to the point of the game where they're able to get an Urgot ultimate over onto the Sivir, that's like all their gold lead gone.
Yeah, and you can see Scuttercrab going to go down to M3 now as well. Going to be on top of that dragon that's now back alive. Not even going to throw out a pink ward. We've got a straight Bloodthirster built up by SMLZ. That was his big purchase with the 3,000 gold. He had banked up Eternal, looking for a flank, going to get stunned up by Love City. SMLZ, very massive here in the backlines. Will take it out as Dade gets that kill. Ulti lands onto 2. Nuna gets stunned up as Nautilus gets taken out as well. We got Urgot being chased down. Lupa zoning off the mid laner there as well. That's 3 kills already. Don't even need the Cassio. M3 straight on top of the dragon.
Yeah, and the kind of key to success for this KX Happy team comp was to have the Cassio as well as the Urgot next to each other, dealing out this damage, and dive with the Rek'Sai and Hecarim. That hasn't come to fruition at all. Dade's been able to get a fight started. That time around it was Love CD, and they just blow people up. That was nearly a melee range Sivir, but it just doesn't matter because no one can kill it.
No, he was so tanky between the Spell Shield and the Bloodthirster, and even just the Aegis helping out a bit from Annie. Lots of work can get done. Nunai might be looking for a steal of the Baron here, but Dade, ever vigilant in his watch of the Baron buff. Gonna zone him out. Even Condi actually, not even in the pit. We're gonna have Lupus Smite be the one to take it instead of a, here comes the double smite. Goodbye, buff.
Yeah, so the buff goes down. Lupa wants to keep his in case there is a fight breaking out anytime soon, and we'll see. Dade just wants to pick up his blue buff off the back of that. Actually, very controlled play coming out of M3. I expected them to be a little bit more aggressive, not looking for anything.
We've seen fairly controlled play so far in this series, actually. Game 1, very light from M3, just, you know, taking their advantage where they can, but very conservative play coming through so far. Similar story here, but they've got a big lead of almost 10,000 gold up. We can maybe fault them for not being too aggressive, but again, some promotion, a big deal here for M3. Want to make it back into the LPL and taking things slowly and looking great.
Yeah, so they're able to get in there. They're really trying to work for this one here. Recurve bow's being picked up by Shyvana in the top lane. Not going to be the Runaan's Hurricane, which we normally see from people that pick up the Recurve bow. Will probably be a Wit's End to get some magic damage out there, shred through there and make his other abilities even more effective.
Yeah, we talked about it. Lupa doesn't really need additional damage, but Wit's End very cost efficient. Why not? Here is Love City. Going to look for a stun as well. Rek'Sai fairly tanky, gets chunked down pretty nicely by Dade, who hasn't quite finished up his Void stuff yet, but almost there. SMLZ with a QSS now as well. Really standard actually on these short range AD carries. With all the CC running about, especially with an Urgot on the enemy team, get your QSS.
And he's the only form of AD damage, so he doesn't really need to go for any armor pen because there's no armor being built on the other lineup. It just means he can have a complete field day with his auto attacks, not really have to worry about it. They're going to push through into another tier 2. Top lane, Lupa's by himself as well. They'll grab both at once and maybe can even rotate mid to take out the inhibitor. Yeah,
great 1-4 push here coming through. Lupa free time on the turret with the Baroned up minions. Will take some turret aggro. No, actually, Cinderhog, yeah, it does trigger a bit. Little bit of damage coming through, but barely registers there on Lupa, who's got such a high health pool right now.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's extremely tanky. You see M3, they stream through the mid lane trying to get in here. You need to be worried of chokes when you're against Cassiopeia. Maybe wait for some poke to come through, but they've set up reasonably well.
Yeah, got a nice wide entrance to come in with the base opened up as well. So able to spread out nicely out from the Cassiopeia ultimate. They're going to get aggressive onto the turret. Baroned up creep's going to do the majority of the work, and now SMLZ steps in for a second, and all of a sudden, Hib's dead again.
Yeah, and now they've got the collapse coming through onto Eternal. He needs to be so careful. If that recall gets stopped, probably going to die.
Oh, stops it himself. I think realized he has to back away a little bit further. Will maybe force the ulti. No, just the devastating charge instead. But M3 will continue their rotations, take out the last tier 2 turret in the top side of the map. 6 turrets down already. Soon to be 7.
Yeah, it looks like they're just a little bit too far ahead. KX Happy doesn't want to have to fight this team. Might even be looking towards game 3. Remember, this is a best of 5, guys. KX Happy still have some time to come back, but M3, they're playing this game clinically.
Yeah, playing wonderfully here as well. But there's the flash ulti. But SMLZ denies poor W. Goes down to the Sivir anyway. Mid laner dives in. Ulti comes through. Rather back Eternal actually. But SMLZ far too good at kiting right now. Damage comes in onto Hakram. He'll go down as Con detected out. That's 3 kills down already. Now going to dive in onto Nuno. Love City going to find the stun. And they give it up, realizing we actually don't need more kills. Just break more base.
Yeah, exactly right. They'll join up with the mid lane wave, which has got a super creep in it. Probably be able to take this one down. Surrender vote, actually. That's twice from KX.
Yeah, I mean, they realize at this point that it's just a formality. Can't realistically defend maybe a 1% shot, but an outside shot it is. Take the surrender, reset, because right now M3 are 2-0 up, and you have to win back-to-back-to-back games just to keep your LPL dream alive.
Yeah.
and promote. Great on the smite teleport carries with Shyvana there in game 2 after his wonderful Hecarim game 1. But it was the silent hero maybe, SMLZ at like 10-0 and a million there on Sivir. Such a good game.
Yeah, he certainly didn't. He got that early double kill with the double buff to help him out. Then soloed out Eternal in the top lane. And from there, you thought that was maybe a telling point of the series pastry time. When your top laner is getting soloed out by an AD carry Sivir, of all people, game probably not going in your favor.
Yeah, and certainly a bit of a crack there, potentially in M3's play towards the very end with a bit of a mistimed team fight after getting in here. But apart from that, wonderful team play, and M3 have really come together. Everyone's doing their lifting. Everyone's playing well together. Condi's on form. Dade Lupa look great. And SMLZ, slowly but surely, just putting up big numbers as well.
Yeah, he certainly is. And I like what you said there, because you saw that it affected M3 when they got caught out. They lost that fight 3-2, and they went right back to basics. They were like, guys, 1-4, we're split pushing, we're
the pick, and from there, when KX can't get those picks together, it's just not going to look as clean.
Yeah, and they're going for it again, pastry time. Have to question this, because we've seen Dade, he has an extra champion up his sleeve that maybe they didn't know about. 3 bans, not going to be enough, but they're throwing him out.
No, haven't been enough so far, but Rise is there, the first 2 bans once again for KX. And he actually, in addition there for M3, going to ban out the Vlad again. And KX happy this time going to pick on Lupa. Hecarim banned out there as well. Twisted Fate, another ban there coming into the mid lane. So that's been banned 3 games straight. And KX, with the way this shakes out, wouldn't be too surprised to see Shyvana taken away.
Yeah, exactly. Get the really good secondary smite teleport, but they go the LeBlanc straight up. That is a brave blind pick.
I mean, they have to. They can't give it back to Dade. They banned it 2 games in a row. Have to block it somehow. We'll first pick it here, but that will open up lots of options here, potentially for M3. But what do they want to go back to? I would love to see Sejuani Shyvana, just to confuse you again, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly right. And we'll see if that does come through. They're actually looking at the Thresh. You feel with the Annie gone. Of course, W was happy to play Nautilus. Didn't really do the champion justice last game. Had an absolute nightmare of a game. He wants to regret that one fairly soon, but they're actually even dodging the Sedge.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen teams definitely pick other junglers over. Rek'Sai and Gragas in particular have been the 2 that we've seen. It is going to be Gragas Thresh for M3, and I like it.
Yeah, I do as well. I think that they're 2 good mid-game champions. Gragas peaks a lot earlier in the Sejuani, you have to say that in particular. And the response seems to be that they don't want to take the Sejuani into it. They instead go for the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, Urgot only apparently for Ukon. That's 2 games in a row. Subbed him in after game 1, and it's been Urgot all the time coming through. Rek'Sai, of course, the second pick there as well. KX, another good draft coming through, and a bit more damage in the mid lane this time.
Yeah, they certainly do have some more damage, and we'll see what that leads to. This matchup, baby, I actually feel goes in Zed's favor at the moment, so we'll see if Dade is willing to opt into it, of course. You say that with your fingers crossed, because there's always the chance that you misplay once and LeBlanc kills you.
Yeah, it's really volatile, but Dade's locked it in, feeling himself after 2 great games. The Dade Zed will return once again, and SMLZ going to turn on the aggression. Graves is his AD carry choice this time.
Yeah, so looking to get super aggro in that lane. Surprised it's not something like a Jinx to go along with the Thresh and just get you some good late game damage, but they've really committed to the mid game this time around.
Yeah, kind of maybe even wanting to match the 2v2 lane this time against the Urgot lane. Looks to be quite an aggressive duo brewing for KX Happy here, as well as they're going to also consider their top laner choices. Lupa actually the one saving his spells right now. Probably going to be Shyvana potentially, especially if Maokai shows his face in the top side of the map, but couple more seconds for KX to consider. This is their last game to really get something happen. They have to win 3 straight here. They make a couple swap rounds. It's Maokai Braum their last 2 picks.
Yeah, so Braum a little bit more interesting there. It's definitely on meta because it's so tanky in the late game. We'll be able to block a lot of what comes out from Graves as well. So maybe it's a support-specific matchup they like down there. But once again, really doesn't have an identity, this comp. Where does the consistent damage come from?
Yeah, it's a lot of pick potential, lots of assassinations, and some good frontliners across the board. LeBlanc, very mobile, but not very tanky, and that's about it. And M3, they already have one comfort champion coming through for Dade. Lupa might be throwing the Shyvana out the window for this game. He's already swapped his summoners over. I think M3 want to have some fun.
Yeah, it certainly looks like they want to commit to the mid-game, get this one over and done with. They think they're a better teamfight comp. From what I've seen, I agree with them, so why not commit heavily to it?
Yeah, and Lupa taking Rumble away, one of his signature champions as well. It's basically signature champs across the board here, with maybe the exception of Condi, whose Gragas has looked great in the very team-oriented play that we've seen from M3 this game. Another great comp, and KX Happy again. Their Game 1 comp looked fantastic, and Games 2 and 3 have just been a bit awkward, to be honest.
Yeah, it looked like they picked their comp game 1, and then game 2 with all the bans in the mid lane. They kind of threw themselves through a loop, and it just seems to be going downhill from there. We'll have to see, though, because, of course, everything on the line now, you would expect them to pull out something special.
Yeah, we'll have to see as KX Happy. No more games left to give away here. Maokai Rumble as well will start things off here in the top lane, and in the jungle, Rek'Sai versus Gragas again. We'll be seeing a lot of this in the upcoming week.
Yeah, we certainly will. And in the mid lane, Dade has grabbed Zed versus Churchery's LeBlanc, and you have to see whether that's a pick away or whether he really can excel on it.
Yeah, assassins everywhere. Going to be a volatile mid lane as Urgot versus Graves, a potential AD carry matchup. Don't know if they want to swap away here. Very aggressive in the bottom side with good engage for supports as well, as it's Braum versus Thresh.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how it works out. SMLZ, if he blinks first and gets that Doxian corrosive charge on him, all the acid hunters to follow, will be in a lot of trouble, but if he has that quick draw available, we'll be able to put down the pain.
Yeah, pretty curious 2v3 lane here, but I think mid lane's where we want to look. It's Assassin just everywhere coming through between Zed and LeBlanc, and I think a pretty even matchup, to be honest. Lots of skill there, and Dade, I think he wants to flex some muscles.
Yeah, he certainly does want to get in his face. I still give it to Zed because he has the ability to dodge out of a lot of the damage, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We'll see what Dade Zed can do. It's the final game, potentially, for M3 versus KX. And welcome back onto the Rift here. It's match point for M3. They've got 3 straight match points actually here. It's a best of 5. They're up 2-0, and Dade starts things off well by queuing LeBlanc.
Yeah, so he's got the early blood through there. See how he makes that one work. He's gone the Doran shield, so a very defensive start out of Dade. Want to know if he's run any lifesteal on his Quince, or whether he's just going for some armor penetration. Of course, Zed players love to be able to get greedy and just throw flat armor penetration everywhere. Because with your passive, don't have any problems last hitting. You're able to get a lot of mid-game damage when you grab that Brutalizer.
Yeah, and I like Dade's general defensive mindsets. He draws a lot of attention from the mid lane. We saw a 4-man gank in the first game of this series as well. So tends to like to play his laning phases very conservatively. It's those skirmishes and especially team fights where even on Zed, Dade can excel.
Yeah, certainly can. You see Lupa, he's also done it. He's respected them, picked up the shield, hasn't gone for something greedy like a health crystal in the first item pick up there. We see a lane swap going towards KX Happy side this time around. They want to get away from the 2v2.
Yeah, I was curious about how that was going to go down as we actually have some minions picked up. I think, yeah, it was Maokai get a bit of extra CS coming through. Didn't finish the camp, so just the early status here. And in fact, Eternal already moving down towards the bottom side in the 1v2.
Yeah, so able to get that in there. Dade, he made a misstep. He threw a Shuriken out early. Normally what you want to do with Zed, which puts you in good stead for this, is wait for them to W on you. Shuriken auto attack at the same time, and you get some good trade damage back. Really does shut down LeBlanc's early aggression on level 1. one of the only champions that can really do that to LeBlanc. LeBlanc generally wins level 1 trades.
Yeah, you got to send a message, of course, as well. And dj actually going to fall behind in the race to level 2. Going to sit back with the Doran Shield, get some regen going. And right now, Churchery is going to take control of the lane early.
Yeah, so he's able to get in there. Really put some pressure on dj. He's grabbed the level 2 now. We'll be able to see us fine underneath turret. But if this is a continued thing, him getting pushed in, this harass will start to go up.
Yeah, you could see LeBlanc diving in aggressively, just trying to get as many autos in as well, abusing the bit of range versus melee matchup here as well. And dj, we expect him to sort of maybe struggle here in the lane. Level 6 might be a different story, but he's looking to farm up safely for now and falling a bit behind.
Yeah, he's falling a little bit behind. I think that he'll be able to turn this one around using a lot of mana early as Churchery. So see how that one works out. 3-man dive coming through onto Looper here. The wave's been stacked nicely. He won't have level 3, and he will miss a lot if it goes through.
Yeah, it's a classic here as Brom gets in a bit of the stun. Of course, Asset Hunter does not proc the Brom passive, so not able to get the stun there. But good trade damage coming in, and Looper, smart decision, backs away immediately.
Yeah, he's going to back away. The lane's pushing in anyway. He's not going to really miss out on much, so he'll get back with full HP by the time that comes through. See if he can make it work. Yeah,
dj again taking some harass early on, but you know, giving LeBlanc back some as well. Going to eat some potions potentially as LeBlanc farming up nicely. Good CS lead currently, but again, we'll see quite a lot of farming. dj should be able to play safe enough in the mid lane.
Yeah, he's certainly looking to just play safe, maybe even a little bit over safe as they completely zone out bottom lane. So both top laners being picked on at the moment. Looper, he's trying to get back up there, stop the recall of Rek'Sai and continue to pick up whatever scraps he can, but SMLZ and Love CD, they're returning the favor.
Yeah, and as we've seen, it's a change away from the Smite teleport top laners we've seen, especially for Looper now in the Rumble. A much different situation, much more traditional struggles for the top laners now in their 1v2. As well, Eternal going to pick up some nice CS and experience.
Yeah, so they're not able to get in there. And dj, he takes a chain as well. That probably shouldn't have happened. So now he's getting a little bit punished. He's burnt his potion as well, and he's 16 to 28 CS. Churchery, he's playing this one well. Yeah,
looking good here, but we actually have Condi moving in now. dj going to come through, going to look for it, knows that that one's the real LeBlanc. Going to go in aggressively. Ignite goes down, and dj is going to pick up first blood, but Nunai here as well. dj, no shadow left for the teleport. Even going to come through. Flash knock up there. They want dj. Lands in, though, from Love CD. And they're going to try and get Condi up, but he's a little too low. Gets the kill as he dies, though, in a 2-for-1 trade for M3.
Yeah, and they grab the assist on nearly all their members as well. That is absolutely massive at the start of the game. How did Graves get an assist?
I don't know. That's very interesting.
Yeah, hopefully that's a spectator bug going through there, and he didn't grab any extra gold off it, but we'll see exactly what goes down. dj grabbing first blood puts him right back in this lane. He's also going to be able to grab a lot of CS for himself. So Zed, whilst being punished early by the LeBlanc, looks to be okay.
Yeah, Looper struggling a tad as well. That level disadvantage in particular going to cause some problems. Ulcon, thankfully for Looper, running a little low on mana, but Love CD returning to the top side now. Actually going to maybe even try a gank on. Does have the hook ready to go. Just missing there, but will line up the flay. Going to go in quite aggressive. Flame Spitter down as well. Damage will come through, but Urgot nice and tanky with the Terra Capacitor active. And just a bit of babysitting here from Thresh.
Yeah, so able to get in there. He zones him off the wave. Probably forces him back to grab that tier early. And Looper, he's done the smart thing. He's not shoving in too aggressively, trying to keep the wave as neutral as possible.
Needs to get some CS as Eternal able to almost triple the CS, and you can see quickly Looper catching up as Condi coming down to the bottom side as well. No ulti here for Graves, but a great smoke screen actually to kick things off. Condi going to activate his W, keep walking in and try and line up a body slam as Eternal trying to get away, but has been knocked up. Twisted advances, the dive comes in, and no ignite available means Condi gets low. SMLZ going to use the heal to keep him safe, and just gets away with Eternal.
Yeah, so he's able to get away. They also have to back out of the game because they don't know where the duo lane is. Jungler and AD carrier heading down to that area of the map, and dj, now he's level 6. Wow.
So surprised he didn't swap to the Shadow and Ultimate. But he's not going to keep it safe for now. LeBlanc not quite level 6, so dj has all-in potential looming.
Yeah, and somehow he's picked up a third longsword. So he's juggling one of them on one of his feet.
Nice. Impressive stuff there. As Looper's even down for a dive as well on dj. He's going to be going in there. Poke comes through. Looper's joined in, and dj swaps a little late. Distortion goes in. They're going to dive a second turret potentially, but have to give it away. Bit of a misdive as Looper. He's way too low. That should be a kill potentially. Even Brom going to find his way in onto the Zed as Nunai's here as well. Does pop the death sentence. Lantern away, but Tree's found Looper. That's going to force a flash from Rumble. Back down. dj will get away safely with the help of Love City, and Looper as Condi swoops in for the save. Gets away as well.
And I'm so surprised dj Dade didn't commit to that kill there on Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai's going a tank build with Barmy's Cinder. Really doesn't do that much early damage. This isn't some longswords coming out for a warrior enchant. So Dade not committing to that one is a little bit of a surprise for me.
Yeah, we can see good poke though coming through for Urgot, but we actually return to the bottom lane now. We'll finally get our AD carry matchup back here. Looper with a slight experience lead in the top side, probably just fine on the Rumble, and Graves with a BF sword, probably not afraid of Urgot anymore.
Yeah, definitely not afraid of Urgot. In fact, it's Urgot who's being zoned away without Braum down here. We'll have some good burst damage coming through before Urgot's able to grab that level 6, and the lane might swap back, but right now, completely comfortable.
Looper, Doran shield plus the amp tome. Double Doran's there for Eternal. So going to get some farm back with all these top laners. They're pretty equal as far as early CS goes, although obviously a little lower than normal. Good block there by Braum with the shield. Going to move the buckshot away, and we can see the trade damage coming through, but level 6 there on the Graves. He's threatening for an all-in.
Yeah, and the thing about Graves is he's just got so much burst damage. You see already. So they're nearly in kill zone for the next buckshot.
They're looking for it. If Love CD had landed the hook, that might have been go time. Ignite there for Love CD as well. Just a pink ward will get cleared instead here for M3. Collapse the tunnels, collect some money there as well. And Dade's still farming away on the Zed now. A bit behind on the LeBlanc, but looking just fine.
Yeah, only 10 CS down now as some more Acid Hunters come through for Ulcon.
Yeah, SMLZ actually going to take the opportunity to get aggressive. Smart stuff with Thresh tagged by the Noxian Corrosive Charge. SMLZ's free to last hit the Urgot.
Yeah, exactly right. It's always going to be the Thresh that's prioritized there, as you see. Some fancy footwork coming through from SMLZ. He gets tagged this time.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with SMLZ this series. He came in late to the party as far as M3's lineup goes, but seems like the team in general has finally gelled. And that AD carry, who was looking good, honestly. Candy looked great for M3, arguably the best performing member of their roster for the regular split. But all of a sudden, it's crunch time, and SMLZ is looking great.
Yeah, it certainly is. And they've got Gragas down here as well. They're going in.
Yeah, Barrel going to move in. Hook goes a little wide, though, and no ultimate thrown out there by Graggy. Means the M3 are going to misfire just a little on the bottom side gank.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay coming through from Love CD. He missed the flay, he missed the hook, really didn't get much in the end at all. And there was 4 members heading down there as well. So Nunai, he's going to be able to clear this one out, although Condi wants in.
Yep, defends the buff there. Scuttlecrab does go down, but the tunnel will be collapsed down the bottom. Hook landing on the Braum. SMLZ going to go in. That shield going to help out quite a bit, but SMLZ going back in. Great smokescreen landed in as well. Snipes him away. Flash actually still lands, but the Q will just miss the Threshers. SMLZ diving in aggressive. Ulti knocks him back. Swap comes through, but Yukon could still be in trouble as Nunai's found his way in. Eternal here as well. Landed just there. SMLZ escapes away. Wonderful play by Graves.
And they committed so much as Dade covers Condi's retreat. Now he's been caught.
Flash knock up in there. Great shadow though as well. Gonna all in onto Yukon. Dade goes in aggressive. Does get the kill. No, not quite get it. Dade will go down. Almost escaped, but LeBlanc claims the trade.
Yeah, used absolutely everything there did Dade and gets punished for it. It was all because Looper didn't have the teleport, but still able to get in and out, pick up an advantage in the top lane. You would nearly even take that for M3.
Yeah, Dade's Z mechanics still on point here in the early stages, but Dragon will go over to KX. No gold advantage from that one, of course, but with a bit of an objective lead, going to start to snowball the objective potentially as M3. They're at 1,000 gold ahead, but no towers down right now. Just a couple kills traded back and forth, and a good start here for KX Happy.
Yeah, so KX Happy, they're performing very well. They've got a pretty good mid-game composition themselves, with the exception of Urgot. Ulcon, he's having a better game, only 9 CS behind. SMLZ isn't really getting out of control yet, but you just feel all the kill potential in the bottom lane are actually for M3, which just means that Urgot, kind of a wasted pick at this point.
Yeah, they picked it so early, and it's just... Urgot's a weird one to me. I think we're definitely still figuring out how good he is. Everyone started playing him into Kalista particularly, and it's a good flex for the mid, but I feel like if a mid laner doesn't play it, it might not be worth it. There's ever a big trade here in the top side. Looper actually going to use the ulti there, try and cut off the retreat there for Eternal, but big damage there from the overheat of Flame Spitter. Condi with the zoning ultimate, but Looper just gets it solo.
Yeah, so he didn't want to go back in, give Condi the assist, so good work. Just kind of suicided there, Eternal. He's had a horrible series, absolute shocker coming through. He's not performing the way he would like to, and you'd have to say it's a little bit of Condi applying some good pressure and a lot of Looper playing much better.
Yeah, Looper's been wonderful. I mean, even away from the Smite teleport laners, had Shyvana open into the Maokai, would have probably been fine, but didn't want to take it. Instead, back on his old favorite Rumble, and just even on this, with the regular flash teleport, looked great as well.
Yeah, certainly did. As you see, Churchy going a little bit aggressive. Now he's used his ultimate. Dade can go in for it.
Dade might look to go in. Does pop it as the chain goes through. Gets snared on the other side, but not enough damage from the Deathmark. Will pop the passive, but Dade navigating nicely in the trade.
Certainly did. Got the ultimate through his Churchy. He misclicks there onto a minion, so no kill potential there. Dade, he wants to get aggressive, but now it's Unai. He's in there as well.
Oh, swap though onto SMLZ. Good tag as well. Lantern out again from Love CD. Can't catch a break.
Yeah, cannot get in there, can Ulcon. He's tried so hard.
Braum as well even trying to line up the ulti. Slightly mistimed on the CC chain there. SMLZ though going to defend Love City quite low, and Condi not in the area. He's actually in the mid lane here knocking up onto Nunai, but pretty tanky on the Rex side. Cinderhawk completed, and both the mid laners have to be careful. There's two danky junglers trying to peel for them, and they both want blood.
Yeah, and all they're trying to do is shove the lane out so they get a free shot. Dade, he looks like he's finally achieved that. So he'll get his shop in there as Looper. He's rotating down.
Back on it here. Sorkshoe's done. Equalizer a bit misplaced there, but Eternal running the right way. Actually going to kite back around. A flame spitter damage. Massive though, and Condi is rotating in. Looper had friends coming. Condi moves in. Looper going to get low. Does go down to Nunai. Eternal actually gets a bit of a reset, but Condi able to take him out as in the bottom. W in trouble there from SMLZ, runs out of mana, but Love City with the Ignite picks up the kill onto Braum.
So they go super aggressive in the bottom lane, and they're not able to get anything for it. Ulcorn's heal just off, just still on cooldown, so not able to save his support player. And you're a very nice man, Pastry Time. That wasn't a misplaced equalizer. That was an absolute shocker.
It's Condi looking to steal away the blue buff from Nunai. It's a smite battle here, potentially. Condi goes in for it. Buff resetting, though. Not good news here. In fact, they might just give it up and fight. Yep, Nunai's going in. LeBlanc's diving in there as well. Good ulti from Condi keeps him safe, but he's ignited down as well. Barrel comes in. Good prey seeker there, but not enough damage. Gragas, so tanky.
Yeah, certainly isn't. He gets the ignite out. Dade actually hanging around in the wings has been spotted out. So he needs to be careful here.
Aggressively recalling still though. Wonder if they go for him. Dade realizes that, yep, don't want to do in there. Shadow, bit misplaced there from Dade, right on top of his old self, but we'll get away from the Braum.
Yeah, in this game getting a little bit sloppy now, Pastry Time. Some misplays across the board. Aggressive coming out of Condi where he probably had no right to be. Not able to pick up the kill on the side of KX Happy, and Dade, he just wanted to get even further into that wall.
Yep, trying to go in. Actually gives up on some of the CS. Misses one, but gets the others. Maybe wants his blue buff as Love City clears out a pink there as well. So continuing the good vision, RM3. Dade going to go back and shot. Might have a big buy here coming up for the Dragon Fight. And Looper with the Haunting Eyes going big. Finally a great equalizer coming through. An Eternal, you are dead, my friend.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's going to go down there. Tries to dodge some of the damage with a Twisted Advance, but Looper, he started to catapult ahead in this lane. And this was the original counter pick to Maokai coming through. Everyone believed that Rumble had a better lane matchup, and Looper proving that's still the case.
Yeah, demonstrating it nicely here with the counter pick he got. Didn't want a big farm jungle, wants a nice mid-game carry here, and that's M3's comp right now. We're going to close out the series and leap themselves into the semi-final to play for one of the two remaining LPL spots.
Yeah, they certainly are looking very strong at this point, and this is what we expect coming out of M3. As we said, they were one game, can't stress that, so close to the playoff spot, but you thought Dade, he might just arrive and do some big things, but in the end, playing for his team's life, arguably just as important, doing a very admirable job.
Yeah, I think Dade, you know, when the games really matter, he comes up big, and they certainly matter at this stage of the game. Can't afford to lose too much, and are off to a great start so far. Now the Deathmark going to come down onto Tree. LeBlanc in trouble. Dade flashing forward. SMLZ's in there as well, and Dade, he probably had that solo, but a bit of help coming just in case.
Yeah, so he didn't have to burn either summoner spell, so the kill pressure remains. SMLZ, he grabs a blue buff for himself, and you see there,
unhappy looking mid laner. Yeah, Tree in the
that seems to be the story of KX Happy. They're a very good laning team. They do nothing surprising. Pretty standard, and just not able to get there against what is a very good M3 lineup.
Yeah, M3 looking good so far. Got a mid turret in there as well. And I guess that's sort of what we expected. It is, of course, that 6+ team versus the 9. Team versus the 9.
Control over the map, and you
place team versus the
control over the map, and you Condi, he seemed to be able to match a turn.
free to do whatever he wants now with the Blade of the Ruined King. Can split push for days. We normally credit Dade for being one of the best team fighting Zeds in the world, but he's got so much space right now, he might as well start roaming.
Yeah, exactly right. He's able to pick up all the tunnels on the top side of the map. He gets two, doesn't want to go for the third. He'll let the Rek'Sai have that one.
There's too much farm in the top lane.
Yeah,
he can't give it up. Oh, Eternal. Dodges the hook. Loves the misplacing that one ever so slightly.
Counted the blue dots pastry time.
Yep, they're too powerful. Definitely the counter to Dade.
Yeah, able to go in there. He picks himself.
Wonderful target selection by M3, nets some 4 kills for 1.
Yeah, and good communication. They realized Dade had the kill over on the side. They break away, pick up the bottom half of the team fight, and in the end, they go 4 for 1, and they're going to grab a dragon turret.
Yeah, turret will go down here as SMLZ. Teaming up with Nunai does take out Lupa.
Yeah, but now the race is on from Dade. The teleport comes through from Maokai, so that'll get him to safety, and now Rek'Sai fancies his chances.
Yeah, Ulkorn coming up there as well on the Urgot. Tree diving in as well. Dade gets just missed there by the chain as Condi comes in to peel off with the barrel. And back down the bottom side, SMLZ and Love City working on another tier 2.
Yeah, so they've played PvP before. They didn't really like it. They prefer this PvE game, so they're going to manage to take themselves a turret. Wow, Condi.
Yeah, aggressively going to force Tree off the turret, actually. LeBlanc, not that many items. Oh, that's awkward. Twisted Advance lands in. SMLZ, click the land. Can't find it yet. Does get away, though, down towards the bottom side as Condi just wave clearing, ignoring LeBlanc completely.
Yeah, I think he was just waiting for Maokai to maybe Q so he didn't get knocked out of the lantern there. In the end, what that meant is he spammed a moat, then shot him once.
Good stuff there. As SMLZ does get away to safety. 5-0-3 on the Graves. Again, a quiet performance here, but Phantom Nanta Infinity Edge at 22 minutes. Throwing a Vamp Scepter there as well for a bit of sustain. And SMLZ, the unsung hero perhaps of this series.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's had a very good performance in all of the games. So one for me that we'll have to watch as this tournament goes on. Dade actually getting chunked out here from Ulkorn. Going in now.
Oh, very smart stuff. Waits it up, but a swap comes in. Good stuff from Urgot, trying to keep himself alive. Denies most of the extra damage coming in, and now Nuno's up in the top as well.
Turret.
Dade has to be careful. They are going to dive in for the turret. Rex are real tanky at this stage, and Dade, no good places to go. Does have a shadow to go back to, but might be out of range. Getting chased down. SMLZ, though, coming around the side. Dade flushes late, but it's real worth there as Eternal diving back in. Dade finds a sapling, though. Lantern again for Love City as the hooks land in. Boxes him in. Love City, amazing play.
Yeah, so they're able to just get everything one more time. Lupa without a teleport. He's split pushing in the bottom lane now. They pick up the kill.
Diving in onto Dade. Treacher gets the kill. Eternal will get flayed back there into the turret as they're going to keep moving through. SMLZ real tanky. Condi diving in. Gets the kill with the auto there from Drunken Rage onto Maokai. The Mimic going to get knocked away. LeBlanc tanks a one turret. It may be one more left there as Nuna going to get the top side turret as a result. SMLZ still chasing though down in onto LeBlanc, and she has to find somewhere good to go. Maybe just has enough to get executed here, but going to distortion away. Running to the turret, and that should be an execute. Looper even tries to find the equalize, but there it is.
Yeah, so they're able to execute their tertiary, so that's a small victory, but they will give the Dragon over to M3. And this game just escalated once again real quick in the mid game, and 6-0 and 4 for SMLZ. He'll go back, maybe even pick himself up another BF sword. No, he only has 700 gold in his back pocket, so probably looking to farm up.
An even faster game here for M3. We said they picked for mid-game. They have turned it on here at the 24-minute mark. 4-2 in turrets. Massive amount of gold, up 7,500 with 17 kills to 6 as 2-1 in Dragons. The score there as well. And mid lane LeBlanc doing his best Dade impression this game, and not the good one, unfortunately. That's a Madrize, just in case.
Yeah, this game's going one of two ways. Downhill very quickly, or we will crawl our way back in. In both cases, Madrize pretty cost effective.
Yeah, not too bad there, as we do have W roaming in towards the top side of the map. Dade level 14 now going to go in onto a tournament. Nuno was in the wait. Marco going to go low though. Dade doing massive damage. Does get the Trey kill, but no Lantern. Does shadow away. Ultimate coming in for Braum Ignite down there as well. Dade just shadows away. Love City with another Lantern, and SMLZ going to join the party onto the tanky Rek'Sai, but doesn't care at all. Braum going to dive his way back in and probably going to die now. Forced to flush away. SMLZ going big. Auto's in there. Gets the kill, and they'll finally take the outer turret.
Yeah, you see him just critting away on the backside there with the Phantom Dancer, with the Infinity Edge. Meanwhile, Lupa's being forced off a turret by Ulcorn, so he's a little bit stronger than what he was last game, but still 0-3-2, not having the best. And we see SMLZ, he's really fed.
He's massive here, 7-0-4 on the Graves. Rek'Sai ulting towards the top side to try and cut them off, but Love City's lands have been on point this game. An absolute lifesaver on the Thresh. The hooks, maybe not so much as that one just goes a little wide, but Scuttle Crab goes down, SMLZ collects the gold. Looper's teleported back down towards the bottom side as well, and Baron might be where M3 looks, and they're executing the 4-1 wonderfully.
Yeah, they certainly are. So
Dark chasing Treachery is the problem. SMLZ going in, crits everywhere. I mean, you can only distort so many. If you're in range of the Graves, they'll just take you out. Condi getting some slow will zone out the rest of KX happy, and Dade plenty of free time down the bottom side, creeping in towards the level 16.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's up to level 14, nearly halfway through that one, so he'll be completely fine. They're trying to pick up a blue buff one more time here. KX happy probably will get it because there's just not enough members around to challenge. But Lupa, that was a strange teleport. No ultimate. Teleports in. Not really much he can do at this point.
Yeah, not even a home guard just to get the melee range harpoon for a slow, but a bit ambitious perhaps there by Lupa, but having a fine game right now. And SMLZ, look at that gold difference.
Yeah, that is huge. Again, 4,000.
Yeah, even Dade as well in the mid, 10,000 gold here, 2,000 gold up on the LeBlanc in the mid side as well. And SMLZ again, banking a lot of gold here, looking for that Bloodthirster third once again, much like in the Sivir game he had. And he's just been wonderful. His team's played excellently, and he's just crept up slowly, picking up all the kills.
Yeah, and every single time, he hasn't really done anything flashy. He's just been there, willing to team fight with his team, coming in for support a lot of the time, and it's really helped out.
Poor Malco now getting chased down by the Z is a horrible feeling. Eternal, level 11, the death mark will pop, but Dade at this point just wants to harass him away. Level 16 going to make that hurt even more, and he's 4 levels down is the Maokai versus Zed.
Yeah, so not in a good position is Eternal. He used the W to dodge out a lot of the damage. That's why he lived there, but Dade, he's 1v1 is pretty scary.
Hey, Ulcon now going to get caught. Electro Harpoon down as well. That will force the flash and the ulti there coming through from Braum, and M3 continue to push. They'll stay as a 4-strong unit here, and Dade will just continue being as annoying as possible in the bottom lane.
Yeah, you see with some cooldown reduction, already halfway through that cooldown for his ultimate. Looks like they're trying to make a 5-man team fight happen somewhere now. KX happy, they might have found it.
Yeah, double knockup found there from the unborrowed box. So down as well. SMLZ throws his ulti in, but not quite on the squishy members. Ultimate down for Lupus, placed very nicely in the choke point as Condi going to get aggressive, but taking a lot of damage. Trichi trying to assassinate someone in the back, but Lupa almost gets the kill solo. And now Nunai going to get hooked in and taken out. Lupa does get the kill onto LeBlanc as well, as Rek'Sai just lives on the back there, but SMLZ going to chase his way in. Love City gets slowed, and Dade busy killing inhibitors.
Yeah, so Dade, he decides it's his turn to just avoid a team fight, able to pick up the bottom lane by himself off the back of that. And that's horrible news. If you can't win a 4v5, game's probably out of reach. They even pick up a parting kill on the backside of the jungler. That will mean the Baron is open whenever they want it.
Yeah, Dade's ulted again onto Eternal. Wants the kill this time. Will get it with wonderful play. And that inhibitor might even go down as well. Dade not even hitting it, farming all of the minions.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of the old Dade coming through, looking for repetitive 1v1, trying to play himself back into form.
Looking good so far. Gets swapped away, unfortunately. Snap up there as well, so a bit of a misstep, but trading for the Baron, not too bad. Doesn't get the inhib again. Greedy on that farm, really wanted the cannon.
Yeah, he certainly did want to get in there, but in the end, he was just creating a very tasty diversion for his team. SMLZ, he's actually the real star player this time around.
I agree. He's had a wonderful series. That Sivir in the last game and Graves in this one's looked great, and he played so well in the first game. I've forgotten what he played. I think it might have been Sivir.
Yeah, he played Sivir.
There we go. We solved it. So I'm missing game 2 then. That's fine here. It's been a wonderful series for M3 regardless here. 12,000 gold and counting ahead for this side. And SMLZ sitting back in his chair, you can see in the bottom right. Going back, relaxing now. Got an extra zeal, because why not? Doesn't really need the Bloodthirster apparently.
Yeah, so just going for outright damage here with some crit coming through. And of course, crit always a useful stat. If you can burst someone down with Graves, it puts you in a good position. Not really a caster build, more of an auto attack. Might even be sneaky mana Trinity Force coming through there.
Maybe. I mean, that'll be kind of cool. We'll have to see what he wants to do there. We do actually have a critical cloak for Dade now as well, so possibly looking for a big IE for even more 1v1 potentially. Talked about it before. Dade has had 1 goal this game. Never ever group with his team, and he's successful so far.
Yeah, exactly right. He's just looking to split push at all points in the game because there's no one that can really 1v1 him. Maybe Urgot can survive and walk away, but there's no one that can outright kill him, and he knows that.
I feel like if Maokai isn't surviving, then Urgot's probably not surviving. Even though they're actually similarly tanky, but all offensive items there for Urgot. Barely any defenses for the Maokai. And Eternal going to get ganked up once again. It's not Dade this time, it's just the rest of M3 as Eternal running away, going to try and find it, but gets played away. And SMLZ, his 8th kill of the series.
Yeah, and not Dade, but the exact same result coming through from 4 members. They're able to get through. This time it will mean an inhibitor. Meanwhile, Rek'Sai, that's the person they've sent to try and defend. And it doesn't look like it's going to be successful.
Yeah, smart swap there coming through as LeBlanc desperately trying to get a trade turret, but Dade continuing to push away. LeBlanc can't even finish that turret there despite some free time, and bit of damage onto the Nexus turrets as well. Condi having a bit of a giggle. As M3, I think they can taste their victory here in the series. Condi might look for an aggressive ulti, but at this point, KX have so much to climb back from. As Trichi gets hooked out of a distortion, killed by SMLZ. W will fall as well. Condi going in big there, tanking up all the damage. Eternal's down here as well. Dade will eventually wander down here to clean up a kill, but he's not needed.
Yeah, not needed at all. Another 4v5 coming through. There's some minions. Dade wants in.
Oh my god, going in deep, gets hit by the fountain laser. Almost gets the kill, does complete it actually onto Urgot. Tower falls down, and M3, a wonderful start to their promotion tournament. 3-0 versus KX happy.
And the whole season long, Patient, we've talked about M3 getting the confidence back, feeling more like a team and getting some smile in their play. You can tell from the last game that definitely is the case.
Rek'Sai ulti's off, knows that the